Yo, what's up, good people? How y'all doing out there? It's your boy Kelvin coming back at y'all behind the bench. Salute to everybody. Let's get right to it. I want to talk about Luka Doncic and the trade that happened a few days ago. Anthony Davis. I know the other fellas on the channel, they have spoken about it. Big Dog, JB, and others, and I know a lot of the mainstream media and other YouTubers have chimed in and gave their thoughts. And I kind of listen to everybody, but I just want to give my 2 cents real quick on it. I do, I like Luka Doncic. I'm a fan of Luka and what he brings to the table and everything like that. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of 50-50 on this trade deal because while as great as Luka is offensively, on the defensive side of the court, he a damn traffic cone. It is what it is. Now, I know with the Mavericks having their run to the finals last year, everybody got a glimpse of it on the big stage, but I've been saying this about Luka for the last several years. That again, while he's a magnificent player, top 5 player in the league, young, exciting, and everything like that, you're not gonna win anything seriously just trying to outscore people and putting up a bunch of stats. It is what it is. The biggest trick that bigger YouTubers and mainstream media has sold to y'all younger fans is that basketball is only about offense and shooting and this so-called word skill and all this old type stupid crap and shooting a bunch of threes. There's 2 sides to the court. And in order to seriously win, I don't care what era it is, you got to play some type of defense. And the Dallas Mavericks, they played no defense. Luka Doncic played no defense. I'm gonna say it again. In order to win, you must defend. I'm not saying you gotta be the 04 Pistons with Ben Wallace and all them, that type of defense. But you have to have some semblance of defense. And at some point in the playoffs, you're going to run into a top-notch team, and you're going to have to make a few stops in order to win. And see, the Dallas Mavericks, a lot of fans, in Dallas and Texas and stuff like that, I've seen them on TV, and they're upset, and I get it. Luka young, 25 years old, exciting, I get it. But on the basketball side, now I don't know if I would have traded Luka, but I understand what the GM is saying, the guy Nico. Now, I didn't heard all the conspiracy theories about the new ownership and them trying to get the team to Vegas and all this old type stuff. I listened to Jason Whitlock and some other people earlier today talking about these conspiracy theories, and I get it. When you look at the Lakers getting another superstar from another player, I get it, and it can be frustrating and stuff like that, but I'm trying to look at it from a basketball perspective, and the Dallas Mavericks realistically nowhere close to winning a championship. That run they had last year, let's just call it what it is. It was a fluke. The Mavericks, I know they made some trades with Gafford and the second half of the season, coming down the stretch, Kyrie Irving and stuff like that. They were fun, exciting. I enjoyed watching them, and they made a nice run. But let's just call it what it is. They wasn't a really true contender. They caught some breaks, and that's how they ended up in the finals. Let's go through it. The first round, they were a 5th seed, I believe. They played the Clippers. They had never beat this Clippers team in the playoffs. They had lost twice previously. This time, Kawhi Leonard is out. And they get bombed because Kawhi Leonard was hurt. If Kawhi Leonard was not there, they would have lost in the first round. That's just a fact. They wasn't gonna beat the Clippers. Second round, they match up against OKC, a very young, inexperienced team that was undersized. And they got a favorable matchup with an inexperienced team. And they was able to dominate them on the backboard with Gafford and Lively. And they was able to beat them. Okay, they get to the conference finals. Minnesota shouldn't have been there. They beat Denver. Denver blew a big lead in Game 7 because Jamal Murray played like dog shit. He decided not to show up, and Jokers ran out of gas. So they ended up winning the Game 7. They should not have won. And they played Minnesota. They play against Anthony Edwards, this young, goofy, hothead punk who didn't show up. And they would beat them in 5. Anthony Edwards, they got into his head, oh man, you 88 Jordan, 89 Jordan, and all this other type stuff. And Anthony Edwards is a stupid goofball who ain't won nothing. So they got another favorable matchup. And give Luka credit, Luka dog walked him. But then when they got to the finals, they played the Celtics, a healthy team, a legit team, a veteran team that's been in the playoffs and stuff like that, that's been knocking on the door for the past 4 or 5 years. They got exposed. Luka got exposed in the finals as a damn hot dog stand. I never seen a team get more backdoor layups than I seen the Celtics have in the finals. Drew Holiday had more layups in that series than he's probably had in any other playoff series ever in his career. And the Dallas Mavericks team as a whole got exposed. They looked terrible on defense. Terrible. So, they got exposed and they just got lucky. This Mavericks team is not like, let's say, the 08 Lakers that made a trade for Pau Gasol and they made a run to the finals. And they were a legit Western Conference champion who was just a small piece away. The 08 Lakers just need to get a little bit tougher and a little bit more size. They was without Bynum. They was pretty much without Trevor Ariza. They got Bynum back, Ariza back, and need to get a little bit tougher and play a little bit better defense. And then they end up winning 2 championships. But this is not the case with the Mavericks. Even if Luka was healthy this year, the Mavericks wasn't going to make it to the finals with the team currently constructed as it was. You see what OKC did in the offseason? They went out and got Hardenstein and Caruso to address what? 2 things. Perimeter on the defense and size. And Hardenstein's a good defensive player. People don't talk about them signings, but those 2 signings were very important. Now OKC is ready to win the championship, and the Mavericks wasn't going to beat them this year. So all the teams that are legit and talking about winning, Boston, Cleveland, OKC, they play defense. Period. See, the media got y'all fooled, thinking, oh man, it's just glitz, glamour, shoot threes, celebrate, and stats. That's not how it go. It has to be a balance. Yes, you need offense. Yes, you need a superstar that can go get you a bucket late in the game. True enough, you have to have that. But it can't be to one extreme or the other. It has to be a balance. You have to be able to score and you have to be able to defend. It's 2 sides of the court. In this modern era, the media and these big YouTubers and dummies like Gilbert Arenas and Shannon Sharp and others, Stephen A. Smith and all these people on TV, got y'all fooled and tricked thinking that defense don't matter. I'm going to say it again. In order to win, you must defend. You can just look at the past current champions. And even in this modern NBA, look at them, the past, all of them. They all play defense. All of them. I don't like the Celtics. I don't like Tatum and Brown. I think they choke artists, and I don't care for them. But they got a hell of a team, and guess what? If you watch the finals, you've seen the defense that they played on Luka and Kyrie. Everybody was hyping up Kyrie and Luka going into the finals and all through the playoffs. But Boston has dedicated themselves to playing real defense, and they shut all that down. Go look at all the previous champions. Who was before them? 23. Denver. I know you're going to say, oh man, Jokers don't play no defense. Well, that's because in this era, there's no centers out there that are true offensive threats that Jokic really has to guard. So you can surround Jokic with good perimeter defenders like Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. and others, to help protect him because Jokic is the big man. Where you need your defense at is on the perimeter, and you have to be able to rebound. Jokic can rebound. And so even Denver, they was during the season, they was kind of middle of the pack, but in the playoffs, they turned it up and they ended up winning the championship. They played defense. The Miami Heat team that they beat, Jimmy Butler, while they were inept offensively, they wasn't a great, glamorous offensive team. What kept them in games and kept them winning series is the Miami Heat culture. They always dedicated to playing defense. And Pat Riley's system down there and Eric Spoelstra, you're going to be in tip-top shape and you're going to defend. If you don't defend, you're not going to play. And that's how they was able to make a run to the final. Now, ultimately, they needed a little bit more offense. Jimmy Butler did a hell of a job, but they needed a little bit more offense, and they came up a little short. But even them, with limited offense, because they're dedicated to playing defense, their defense carried them. 2022, the Warriors, they won the championship. I know everybody look at the three-pointers, Steph Curry and Clay and all them, Andrew Wiggins and stuff like that. People don't realize that the Warriors were the number one rated defensive team in the regular season. And then when they got to the finals and played Boston in 2022, you know what won them the series? Their defense. The adjustment that Steve Kerr made defensively. He chose Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, even though Draymond Green didn't play good offensively. Defensively, he said, do not let those two dummies go right, Brown and Tatum. They stayed on their right hand, made them go left, and that changed the whole series. They was down 2-1. Yes, Steph Curry went off in the Boston Garden. He played great. But their defense won them the championship. The defensive adjustments that they made on Brown and Tatum made them go left. And that's what the Mavericks should have did last year. But they paid no attention to defense. Before that, Milwaukee during the regular season, they was just kind of middling around. They was bottom of the league defense. But I just looked it up. In the playoffs, Milwaukee Bucks in 2021, they were the number one rated defensive team. And you know what won them the championship in 2021? Their defense. Everybody talk about Giannis, game 6, 50 points. All that's true. But the single play that won them the championship was a defensive play that no one talks about. The media won't tell you about it. Game 5 in Phoenix, late in that game, Jrue Holiday made the play of the series defensively when he stole that ball away from Devin Booker. And they drove down through the alley-oop to Giannis. He caught it. And they won that pivotal game 5 in Phoenix that they had to have in order to win the series because they didn't have home court advantage. Defense. Yes, you still need Giannis to go score 50 and Chris Middleton to hit clutch shots. All that's very true. But if Jrue Holiday don't make that defensive stop and they lose game 5, Giannis can go for 50 in game 6. They still got to go back to Phoenix for game 7. You know what I'm saying? Even the Lakers in the bubble, I don't think much of that Lakers bubble championship. But do people know that the 2020 Lakers were one of the top rated defensive teams? They had size and they played defense. 2019, the Raptors. They was down 0-2 to the Bucks in the conference finals. You know what changed that series around? Kawhi Leonard said, you know what? I got Giannis. Let me stick him. His defense turned that series around and they end up winning 4 straight. And they end up going on winning the championship. I can keep going on and on and on. The highlights in the media only talk about offense. But in order to be serious, you're going to have to defend. And the Dallas Mavericks, even with Luka, as currently constructed, was not going to win a goddamn thing. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. Now, I'm not saying I would have traded, dude. I probably would have, most likely I would have kept Luka and figure out how to build me some kind of defensive team around him. But I understand the thinking of the GM when he says defense wins championship. That's what he said. Now, I do believe they should, if they was going to trade him, they should have got a lot more. I do agree with that. But I understand the thinking when you got a young dude who is not dedicated to keeping himself in shape. And in this era where it's about spacing and shooting and a lot of pick and roll and exploiting mismatches in open space, and you can exploit Luka like the Boston Celtics did, and Luka looked absolutely brutal on defense and everybody laughing at him and they got no shot. I get it. I understand. But I'm just gonna say this. I know a lot of y'all won't listen to older fans like myself, Rashad, and some JB and others on this channel and other channels. Older fans that watched the NBA for a long, long time. And all the teams that are serious about winning championships, at some point, they have to play defense. It might not be the number one team, defensive team in the league, but they have to get stops. You know, y'all, everybody talk about the Warriors, the dynasty years with KD and all that type of stuff. And Steph, when they was at their peak and they won their 4 titles. What they don't talk about is the Warriors always being the top of the league in defense. Yeah, Steph Curry was not a great defensive player, but yeah, Klay Thompson around him was a good defender. Draymond Green won Defensive Player of the Year. Who else? Andre Iguodala. All these guys were dedicated to playing defense. They had JaVale McGee, who was a good shot blocker a couple years in there. They had David West. They had guys around Steph Curry to help protect him. And those guys played defense. Even Kevin Durant, who was never known as a great defensive player, when he came from OKC and he got in the Warriors culture, Kevin Durant became a much better defensive player. Go back and look at the tape. And y'all know, anybody that was really watching the Warriors, Kevin Durant became a very good defensive player for a few years with the Warriors. Because he got in the culture with Steve Kerr, who came from the Greg Popovich and the old Chicago Bulls, where defense was emphasized. So, I'm just saying, again, I don't know how this whole trade situation gonna work out. I get the frustration. I get it. I don't know about all this Las Vegas stuff and all that type of stuff and conspiracy. And I get it. Oh man, the Lakers cheating and got another young super. I get it. But the Mavericks wasn't going nowhere with Luka. I'm sorry, they just wasn't. Somebody gotta tell y'all the truth. That run last year was a fluky run. It was not a true Western Conference contender. They got lucky. And that's the reason why they looked so bad in the finals. They got exposed. You know, again, I might not have traded the dude. I probably would have kept him. But I understand. I understand the thinking. I understand. I know people was like, man, you tripping, man, dude, 25, and you bring back AD, he was injury prone. I get it. I probably, if I was gonna trade, I would have got something better. I get it. But I understand the GM's thinking that we got to improve defensively. Otherwise, we're no serious threat. And that is what everybody's missing when he's saying. I don't know his exact quotes, but he said in so many words, in order to win the championship, we got to play some serious defense. And the Mavericks last year, they wasn't like that. They was nowhere close like that. Then throw in all the diva stuff Luka was doing behind the scenes. He fat, out of shape, want to drink beer. They said he almost 300 pounds, whatever, 270, 275, whatever he is. I get it. And I like Luka, I really do. People might hear this and think, oh man, you don't like Luka. No, I don't. I like Luka. I'm a big fan of Luka, man. Luka's great. But Luka, at some point, got to look himself in the mirror and dedicate himself to getting in tip-top shape to try to get a little bit better defense. Nah, he's never going to be Kobe Bryant defensively or Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen. We get that. But you can get yourself in better shape where you're at least an average defensive player. You can help the team out, become an average team defender. No, maybe you won't be an all-NBA defensive player one-on-one. We get that. But still, he can do better. And maybe him going to the Lakers, LeBron and the other great Lakers of the past, they'll talk to him, get in his head, and get him into better shape. And he'll play a little bit better defense. The one thing about LeBron, as much as a fraud that he is, LeBron will stay in shape. He'll take care of his body now. He won't develop his real basketball skills, but as far as his body and keeping in shape, LeBron will do that, and he can help Luka with that. You know, so that's that, man. I just want a different perspective that people keep missing. They got this drilled in y'all head, the mainstream media. It's just about shooting, scoring, all the glamour stuff. They show y'all the highlights of Kobe Bryant in the past. They show y'all highlights of Michael Jordan and all that type of stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, I grew up watching the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls are always one of the top defensive teams. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, them dudes, Ron Harper and all them. If you go back and watch the Chicago Bulls were physical and they would defend. They played defense. Kobe Bryant played D. The Lakers played defense. Even going back to the 80s, the Celtics and all them teams, they played defense. Even the Showtime Lakers with Magic and all that. Nah, Magic wasn't a great defensive player, but the players around him played some defense. They made stops when they had to. Kareem was 12 times All-NBA defense? Yeah, man. They just showing y'all the glamorous, pretty part. What Pat Riley say? No rebounds, no rings. And so in order to get the rebound, you got to play some defense because the offensive player take a bad shot and miss in order for you to get the rebound. If you just Olay and just a taco stand like Luka Doncic, they're going to be layups and you're going to lose. All that pretty Phoenix Sun stuff in the mid-2000s with Steve Nash. What was the knock on them? They played no defense. It was just all offense. You know. But that's it, man. That's all I want to say. Remember, people, there's two sides to a court. In order to win, you must defend. End of discussion. I'm out.